Everyone remembers the winner.
Astralis again!
They remember the confetti, the highlight clips, the moment history gets written. But this match, this moment in Budapest was never supposed to include FaZe Clan.
The general state of FaZe Clan is an abomination.
No time to plan! Twistzz needs the brag! And now Jacob.
For most of this year, FaZe weren't playing like a major final contender. They were a question mark, a team accused of being too old, too inconsistent, too broken to thrive at this level of Counter-Strike. And at this major, that doubt almost became a reality.
karrigan has to deliver right here, right now. In the face of a smoke and a defuse kit, he's not positioned for the bomb. And as karrigan swings wide, he'll stop it. FaZe Clan to overtime.
Woo!
FaZe found themselves one match from elimination, one round, less than a half a second from going home before their tournament really even started. That's how close this story came to ending, and yet somehow, a team that spent an entire year unraveling, outlasting roster changes, criticisms, and basically itself, it stood right here in a major grand final. This isn't just the story of a moment, this is the story of everything that had to happen before it. FaZe Clan didn't just struggle throughout 2025, it seemed like they couldn't recognize themselves. This was a team that for years lived off a very specific DNA. They were unpredictable, no lead was ever safe when FaZe Clan were still alive. They were a team that won rounds they had absolutely no business winning. A team that thrived on magic, or bullshit depending on who you ask. But in 2025, that chaos just stopped working. Inconsistency was the headline, not because FaZe were getting blown out every match, but because one moment they looked like contenders and the next, well, they looked completely disconnected. They'd dominate one half and lose the next without answers. And this wasn't just a feeling, the results told the same story. At IEM Katowice, one of the most prestigious tournaments of the year, FaZe were eliminated before the playoff stage. At IEM Melbourne, the pattern repeated. Flashes of dominance followed by collapse. At Blast Open Lisbon, FaZe once again failed to convert group stage momentum into a deep run. For an organization at their caliber, this was really alarming. By mid-2025, FaZe had gone over a year without a Tier 1 trophy. They just couldn't find a way to finish. Even at the first major of the year, a tournament that can reset everything, it just didn't change the narrative. In Austin, FaZe exited in the quarterfinals. Maybe respectable on paper, but disappointing in context. This is how great teams start to unravel, not through blowouts, but through doubt. When results don't match preparation, when effort doesn't match outcome, when your identity disappears, something has to change. One change a pretty vocal part of the community talked about was for the lead man himself, karrigan. Despite being one of the most accomplished in-game leaders in Counter-Strike history, quite a few people felt like it was time for him to pack it up. As the losses stacked, the conversation around FaZe took another angle. It wasn't just about tactics anymore, it wasn't just about roles or firepower, it became about time. He's too old, shit aim, retire. This wasn't the first time he'd heard calls for his retirement, but with the team's performance, they seemed to grow louder. And on paper, you could argue the criticism had fuel. Throughout 2025, karrigan consistently posted the lowest rating on FaZe's roster. Now, of course, for anyone who regularly watches professional Counter-Strike, they'll know that this isn't unusual for an IGL. But when compared to other top IGLs in the scene, people would argue karrigan's numbers fell flat. Every lost round became evidence. Every missed shot became a talking point, and another narrative starts to grow. FaZe are struggling leads to, is karrigan the problem? Inside FaZe, karrigan never seemed to lose the room though. No teammate publicly questioned his leadership, no one asked him to step aside, but outside the server, the noise didn't stop. And if he was going to prove them wrong, he'd have to find a way to get his team back on track. It was clear FaZe's captain knew what their problem was. They found themselves a team that couldn't show out the same way twice in a day. But what caused this inconsistency? Why was a team with such a talented roster struggling to make it work? Well, one of the first cracks in the foundation came from losing a key member before the year even started. This one change would have a pretty massive impact, one that would create a revolving problem throughout the year. When a team loses its identity, the next question is always the same. How do you stay your course when you have to change the pieces? Unfortunately for FaZe Clan, they'd have to answer this question before the 2025 season even began. On December 31st of 2024, FaZe Clan announced the departure of Rops. And this wasn't just a roster change, this was a key loss to a part of their core. He's not the loudest voice or always the flashiest playmaker, but he's arguably the best lurker in the entire game right now, and he's someone FaZe relied on heavily. Someone who absorbed pressure, stabilized rounds, and allowed the chaos to work because he was always holding the line. In his first 2 years with FaZe, Rops helped win 7 LAN trophies, including a Major and an Intel Grand Slam. Replacing that kind of presence isn't just about stats, it's about replacing cohesion. FaZe's first response felt relatively logical, bring in some experience into the mix. And in early 2025, they signed Elige, a proven veteran, a former top 20 player, and someone who knew pressure. On paper, it made sense to FaZe, but in reality, it didn't shake out that way. The problem wasn't Elige's talent, it was his fit. Rops had been a passive anchor, and Elige was a more naturally aggressive rifler. And according to interviews given later in the year, even Elige admitted that the adjustment was harder than they expected. The team struggled to find a balance without Rops' presence. FaZe didn't suddenly become bad at the game, they just seemed to become uncomfortable. It takes time to learn to play together with a new team member. As 2025 progressed, the results made one thing clear. It wasn't working. As mentioned earlier, FaZe failed to make the playoffs at multiple big events early in the year, including Katowice and Melbourne. And when the biggest tournament of the season approached, something big happened. In May, FaZe made a move that shocked a lot of people. They benched broky and replaced him with Simple. broky was struggling quite heavily at this point. He was barely breaking a 1.0 rating at many of the tournaments so far. For context, in just the 2 years before this, he had posted an average rating of 1.13 and 1.08 at big events. But to bench a core member right before a major? This wasn't a rebuild, this was a gamble, and karrigan even said so himself. And it mattered, because it confirmed what many people were thinking. FaZe wasn't confident, they were desperate for any semblance of success. The simple experiment didn't fail spectacularly, but it didn't save them either. By July, FaZe reversed course. broky returned to the lineup after 2 months. karrigan later described the benching as the hardest decision of his career. It wasn't meant to be a punishment, but an attempt to reset a player and a team that just were drowning. But the year wasn't done forcing FaZe's hand. In August, FaZe made another move, and a very controversial one at that. They benched Elige and signed 21-year-old rookie Jacob. To understand why this signing raised eyebrows, you have to understand who Jacob was before FaZe. Because this wasn't a blue-chip superstar, this wasn't a proven tier 1 name, this was another big bet. Before joining FaZe, Jacob was a tier 2 rifler, a mechanically gifted player grinding through smaller European events, online leagues, and regional LANs. The kind of player analysts describe with phrases like raw aim, high ceiling, and neat structure. His strengths were obvious: explosive mechanics, fearless duels, a willingness to take space even when the odds weren't perfect. But so were the questions. Could he translate that aggression against tier 1 opponents? Could he stay disciplined under pressure? Could he play his role without overreaching? These are the kinds of questions many rookies face. But not every rookie has to answer those questions coming into a situation like Jacob did. Because joining a team like FaZe doesn't just mean better teammates. It means bigger stages, louder criticism, and very little patience from the outside world. You don't get to grow quietly, you grow in public. It's a lot of pressure, and early on it showed. In his first appearance with FaZe, Jacob didn't light up the scoreboard. HLTV described his debut as subdued. Not terrible, but not convincing either. But internally, FaZe weren't signing Jacob for instant impact. They signed him because they believed something else mattered more: potential. Karrigan later hinted that Jacob was a player they wanted to build, not borrow. Someone who could be molded into the system, not forced to replace legends overnight. And that distinction is important because the criticism Jacob was facing early on wasn't just about his play, it was about timing. FaZe were struggling, the fan base was restless, and a rookie became an easy person for some to point the finger at when things weren't going their way. This wasn't a short-term fix. This was FaZe admitting to themselves that the old formula wasn't enough anymore. They needed new energy. Some roster changes are tactical, others are historical, and then there are changes that redefine what a team is. And FaZe Clan was about to have that kind of moment. By September 2025, FaZe were running out of time. The roster lock was fast approaching and still no trophies in over a year. Management wanted change, and this time, it hit particularly hard. On September 29th, FaZe made their final roster move of the year and announced Rain had been benched. No warning shots, no transition period, just the end of an almost decade-long era. Rain wasn't just a player on FaZe, he was FaZe. A founding member, 19 trophies, a major MVP. He was the constant through every rebuild, every superstar signing, every era. When rosters changed, Rain stayed. The reaction was immediate and emotional, rightfully so. Fans were stunned, analysts questioned the timing, and blame for the move was being shifted all around, particularly in Karrigan's direction. Inside FaZe itself, the impact was massive. When Rain left the active roster, they crossed the line. They committed to a new beginning. Rain's benching led to the shocking return of former FaZe member Twistzz. His return also meant a deal that sent a liege back to his former team Liquid. Twistzz came back to a team that he saw great success with before. He had won a Major, IEM Katowice and Cologne, an Intel Grand Slam, and also made 3 appearances on HLTV's top 20 players list in the last stint with the team. Despite some prior issues with FaZe, he was ready to come back and make a real impact for the org. For many people, FaZe Clan wouldn't be the same again, but sometimes that's the price of reaching the next chapter. By October, FaZe Clan looked way different than the team they ended with in 2024. But despite being a relatively new roster, they understood their common goal: a reason to keep fighting. And that fight would be tested immediately on one of the biggest stages in Counter-Strike for the year. As FaZe Clan arrived in Budapest, public expectations were gone. This wasn't a team people thought could win the major. This was a team they knew couldn't make a deep run. And in a strange way, that freedom really came to matter. FaZe started out in Stage 1, the Challenger stage. They picked up some initial steam in their best of 1 against Linvision, but that success was short-lived. They went on to lose against NRG, whose coach had to play as a stand-in for the team's captain.
Bro collects from inside of the site. 15 to the clock, and Twistzz is gonna have to run this down. No other option. Bro sits into the back of that plat, waits for this arrival, down to the wire. Can you believe it? No time to plant. Twistzz needs the frag, and it's NRG. NRG with Daps as a stand-in to the 2-0 pool.
There was a nearly 2-hour tech issue that kept the match from being played until well after midnight, but it was another reminder of FaZe's inconsistency. They continued to struggle, losing their last best of one in the stage to NIP. It was a pretty bad showing in Overpass, and that was something that would be important to remember later. This left FaZe in a best of 3 that would make or break their major. The first map was Mirage, FaZe's own pick and one they had a relatively high win rate on coming into the major. They were fighting against the Red Canids, the 71st world ranked squad that was looking to prove themselves as another big Brazilian contender in the scene. A dismal performance from FaZe would leave them 0-1 to start the best of 3. Twistzz was the only player finishing with a rating of over 1.0 in the match for them, and right now, it came down to one final map to determine their fate. Now, despite Nuke being the Red Canids pick, this was also a good map for FaZe. It was their second highest win percentage map of the current pool coming into the major. But how was FaZe gonna come back from such a poor performance? How could they find a way to stay in this major? They start by winning the pistol and taking 3 consecutive rounds, but the Brazilian squad answered right back with 3 of their own. FaZe earned 3 more after that, but the Red Canids turned up the heat and managed to get 6 in a row. FaZe would get some rounds back here and there, but the Brazilians clawed their way to a match point. It's 12-11 now, and if FaZe lose here, they're out of the major and finish this year off with yet another disappointment. Round 24 starts, and both teams are able to afford full buys. Twistzz kicks off the action with a kill outside.
Setting up these Twistzz
Here
lurks.
we go, smoke for it. He's also been caught in the open before.
Oh, got it.
Meanwhile, Jacob, Frozen, and broky make their way towards ramp.
As he goes over the box, shots whiz by. He peeks in, catches him with nades. But it's just damage so far, and Jacob comes out with a headshot.
It's a good kill for them, but the strong start to this round is about to take a turn. It's a 3v2 now in favor of FaZe, but they've lost both their powerful riflers in the process as the Red Canids look to take the B site.
There are flashbangs and a smoke for him as well. And we've got 2 bodies side by side. They've got to clear out Jacob. broky eating the flashes. First one's good. Trade potential denied as the doors get closed in front of history. And as he presses the M4 in, he's got yet another. karrigan has to deliver. Right here, right now. In the face of a smoke and a defuse kit, he's not positioned for the bomb. And as karrigan swings wide, he'll finish it. FaZe Clan to overtime.
Woo!
0.4 seconds away from being eliminated. karrigan is able to clutch up and keep the dream alive for his boys. The Red Canids keep fighting, but FaZe are able to pull off the win in double overtime. With each team now having won a map, we make our way to Inferno. FaZe keeps up their momentum from Nuke and take 8 rounds on their starting T side. They close out this game 13-5, only allowing 1 round to the Red Canids in the second half. The match is over and the FaZe boys can get in a quick sigh of relief, but only a quick one because this stage isn't over yet. They got one more hurdle between them and stage 2, and that's Fluxo. Yet again, this is another match that when you look at the rankings and you look at the stats, FaZe should easily be able to take care of them in 2 maps and move on to the next stage. But with Fluxo fighting for their lives too, they wouldn't make it easy for FaZe Clan. With the map bans out of the way, we're left with the same 3 maps that FaZe just played the Red Canids on. We're starting on FaZe's pick Inferno to get things underway. FaZe start out hot, winning the pistol and capitalizing on that success early. Fluxo keeps it close though into round 8, tying it up at 4-4. Unfortunately for them, FaZe are able to take up the final 4 rounds of the first half. Fluxo are only able to take 2 more rounds in this game and FaZe would win it 13-6. With the momentum on FaZe's side, we're back on Nuke, and it could very well be the final map for Fluxo if they can't pull something together. They start their T side taking 4 rounds in a row, and despite some back and forth, they're able to end the half with a slight edge over FaZe on a 7-5 lead. FaZe start the second half strong by winning the pistol and the round after, but that's all they'd take on Nuke this go around. Fluxo ends it in round 20 with a 13-7 win. With FaZe already back in the crosshairs of elimination, they start on the T side of Mirage. They take the pistol and second round, but quickly lose several rounds in a row after. Despite showing some glimpses of hope, FaZe are only able to pick up 2 more rounds before the half, and Fluxo have a solid 8-4 lead. Fluxo continues their momentum, picking up the first 2 rounds after the half, but then something just clicks for FaZe Clan.
Pushing on out. Zebi's going for the plant. He slips on in. Has the backstab. Reveals it needs the multi. karrigan delivering. Surely not. Fluxo, you have the 2-man advantage. Now broky and karrigan really do have an opportunity to knock you out. Smash your major dreams. Kowzy lingers in mid. karrigan seems like he's confirmed it. Yeah, they do. The Kowzy unloads his mag. They know where you are.
It's not planning for him.
It's not planning for him. He can actually just go for this. Is this really how it ends? A defuse to end it all. Incendiary spreads and FaZe Clan have done it.
They would win 9 straight rounds to finish off the map with a 13-10 win. It was yet another example of a team that would struggle hard and then find another way to survive. With stage 1 at a close now, FaZe were alive, but as a unit they weren't performing at the level they should be. A win is a win, but the competition only gets harder from here on out. They made it through to the next stage, but it took a toll. Regardless though, the FaZe boys weren't ready for an early exit at Budapest, and in the next stage, they would certainly show it. FaZe kick off the next stage with a close match on Dust 2, winning over Passion UA 13-10. It was a bit of a lower performing game for Twistzz, but broky would lead the team with his best rating in the tournament yet at 1.49. FaZe's next match was, on paper, one of their hardest yet, Aurora. Coming into the tournament, this Turkish squad was ranked 8th in the world and a team that most people easily had moving on to the next stage of the major. It would be another best of 1 on Dust 2 and FaZe would not disappoint. Twistzz would bounce back with the team's best rating of the match at 1.74, but maybe even more importantly was Jacob having his best game of the tournament so far. Finishing off with a KD of 24 and 14 as well as a 1.53 rating, Jacob was really starting to prove that he could thrive at this level of Counter-Strike. With 2 wins in the bag, FaZe needed only 1 more to qualify for the 3rd stage. But to get there, they'd have to face a familiar opponent, NIP. Luckily for FaZe, this was a best of 3 and they were able to ban Overpass, the map they had previously lost to them on. They also were able to play on 2 maps they had been performing particularly well on in this tournament so far, Nuke and Inferno. The series started on Inferno with FaZe on the T side. It was a very rough time for them though, ending the half down 9-3. It was going to take some major pushback on the CT side if they wanted any chance of winning. Despite a really solid second half from FaZe, NIP won a few rounds for themselves, putting them in position for a match point. But FaZe wouldn't lie down.
They open their smoke to jump over. karrigan trying to test this. Lineup's there. Misses his chance to stop bomb. Retakes on here for FaZe. Or NIP finish this off with back-to-back rounds in regulation at the final hurdle. NIP may have just cleared FaZe. We'll see. This is a retake with no kit featured. Frag grenade chucked out by broky. Op's gonna have to be a part of this. Twistzz trying to get his. broky over the shoulder collects. And as they start to push this in, it's now gonna be Shush. 1v3 point blank. Jumping MP9. Onto the bomb they'll go. 10 seconds, no problem. Overtime required to separate the 2.
Yes, sir. They move just fast enough. Post haste here into the site.
With that retake successful, this game was going into overtime. FaZe would keep their momentum up and win 4 rounds in a row to seal their victory on Inferno. And now it would take only 1 more map for FaZe to advance to stage 3. But NIP's life is on the line and they aren't leaving without a fight. FaZe start Nuke on the CT side and managed to win the first 3 rounds, but NIP is able to come back and end the half with a slight advantage of 7-5 over FaZe. After some more back and forth in the second half, FaZe are able to win 4 consecutive rounds, putting them at 12-11 in a match point situation.
15 to the clock. Jacob, it's right there. It's the headshot. Now he's got to scoop up that bomb, and he's playing against one of the coldest players in the scene. Shush on the doorway. Goes for
Despite a valiant effort from Jacob, he runs out of time and they can't get the win in regulation. But just like on Inferno, FaZe take 4 straight rounds to win in overtime. There were some really awesome individual plays from FaZe members in this stage, but more importantly, they kept playing as a unit during the tough moments. Every squad playing now that wasn't in the first 2 stages is a top 15 team in the world. And after 3 days of rest to prepare, FaZe would start their stage 3 journey against Vitality, the number 2 ranked team in the world. In their best of 1 against Vitality, FaZe would get to play on Nuke once again. They start on the T side this time and take the first 3 rounds, but the half would end slightly in Vitality's favor at 7-5. FaZe would really step it up on their CC side though, only allowing 2 rounds to Vitality and ending the map 13-7. Things were really looking up for FaZe after a powerful second stage, and now with a victory over a top team like Vitality, they just had to keep it going. Their next match was against Team Spirit on Dust 2, and their high would painfully be stomped out. FaZe would lose 13-5 with not a single player on the squad getting over a rating of 0.8. And just as fast as they seemed to be on top of the mountain, FaZe fell right back into the abyss. Their next match against the Mongols would end in similar disappointment. Despite a strong showing from broky, it wasn't enough to pull the team through this match, and they would lose 13-7. With their losses to Spirit and Mongols, FaZe's life was yet again on the line, and they had to push through another slump if they wanted to make the playoffs. The first hurdle in their way was 3D Max. 3D Max had already been playing for their life after losing to Pain Gaming and Vitality, but they'd been able to stay alive after a win over Paravision. With both teams' survival in the balance, who would make a statement win on the first map? They started out on Dust 2 and both teams looked relatively even in the first half with FaZe up 7-5. FaZe kicked it up a notch in their second half and went on to beat 3D Max 13-6. It was a great game all around, with each member of the team posting a rating of over 1.1. This success would carry over into Inferno for another relatively comfortable win of 13-5, sending 3D Max home but keeping that FaZe magic alive. Jacob yet again proved his prowess and posted his best rating of the tournament yet at 2.06. While it was a great win for FaZe, they still weren't out of the woods yet. They had one more best of 3 to go if they wanted to push for a playoff run, and they'd do it against a familiar face from Stage 2 in Passion UA. After the map ban picks, FaZe would have to start this series on a map they struggled with earlier in the major, Overpass. Passion UA started strong, winning the pistol and a few rounds, but FaZe would answer back and end the half up 7-5. Passion UA once again had a strong start, winning 5 rounds in a row. 2 of those were particularly rough for FaZe Clan.
Okay, Passion UA, you have our attention. What's the idea here? They both feign the fallback. Bomb planted for toilets. Isn't there smoke here on either of these players? So they're hoping that FaZe up and leave can give them a window to hop on that bomb. This is a really risky move. A lot of time has elapsed now. Hauser getting on it. karrigan trying to come back. Will he get there in time? Oh, he's missing! And that's a ninja defuse from Hauser!
Can he grab that kit? Or does he just go for the kills here? Nick's moving in. May have the element of surprise, but that's all he has, and it goes away immediately after that kill. Smoke on the bomb, and you know FaZe are flustered in a round like this. karrigan running in. Molly goes through. Nick's on the stick. 1v1 with a knife out. Not again.
No!
Not for Twistzz. He can't do it. Back-to-back defuses in the face of FaZe. And how are you not phased after that?
Despite the back-to-back ninja defuses, FaZe find their footing once again and close out the game 13-11. With that win on Overpass, FaZe were now in a position to realize their playoff hopes with a win on Mirage. Of course, in classic FaZe fashion, they continue to raise the blood pressure of their fans to dangerous levels and play a close map on Mirage. Fortunately for FaZe, as well as the hearts of their fans, they were able to take the last 3 rounds and they find their way into the quarterfinals of the Major. FaZe are set to take on MOUZ, the world number 4 coming into this tournament. They don't have the biggest superstars, but they do have one of the most consistent top tier squads in the world right now. They've made their way to the playoffs of most big events they played in this year, including 2 grand final appearances in IEM Cologne and Dallas. This was also a MOUZ team that 2-0'd the same FaZe roster at IEM Chengdu just a bit over a month ago. If FaZe were going to make their way to the semifinal in Budapest, they'd have to defy expectations once again. Fortunately for them, they get to start this best of 3 on 2 maps they've really shined on at this major. FaZe start out the T side of Nuke and get off to a fast start with a clean pistol round.
And a start like that. It's Frozen's Glock connecting onto an aggressive exertion. Jimmy responsible for the ramp side. Pressure applied, and he's down.
Jacob out the gates early. Major rookie, first big stage. That's what you love to see.
Quick rotation. Brawling and Spinks dip down into the vents. Audible Plant trying to disrupt and get him off. Multiple bodies encroaching. Another from Jacob. Spinks is down. A perfect FaZe Clan round. What a start.
They keep their foot on the gas throughout this first half and end it with a dominant score of 9-3. But MOUZ isn't ready to give up yet. They forcefully stop FaZe in their tracks by winning 8 straight rounds in a row, with the scoreline now sitting in MOUZ's favor at 11-9.
Now starting back warehouse.
Good catch exertion on his jaw. Oh, broky quick to number 2 and a team kill. What was that? Torchy's put Spinks down.
A big round from broky and a misplay on MOUZ's part would help give FaZe the momentum they needed to get back on track.
Oh, yeah, Jiggle spotted him. Oh! Jimmy Salo and his Desert Eagle makes this round a reality for MOUZ. If they can just get one more, Frozen stands strong, only for one. That's Spinks. Builds around it. Free them up to play from the lobby side. All 3 surging in through heaven. A team flash. Weird for karrigan. It's Twistzz that chips away. Catches Spinks, dips back. 10 seconds. That bomb must be planted. It will not. FaZe fight 12 first. Match point in this quarterfinal.
After a relatively close eco round from MOUZ, it's match point for FaZe.
And that is a big star, broky.
Opening number 4.
Quickly found a little bit of a response. Jacob got picked off by the lobby left. Jimmy, what's going on? Twistzz is covered. karrigan saves his hide. Can't run and hide. Kept at bay by the flame. What's that from broky? He's having his way with them. Pulling them apart piece by piece all over the shop. Spinks can save them. Torgy and Spinks could maybe turn this 2v4 into overtime, but they have to get past Frozen. He's got his AK. Frozen's been spotted out. They know what's up now. broky onto Torgy. FaZe Clan have done it, taking their pick. Explosive on map 1.
FaZe are walking that fine line between fact and fiction. From stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and this is their stage.
After regaining their form in the final rounds of Nuke, FaZe were now just one more map from making it to the semifinals, and boy would they make a statement.
MOUZ will be popping into this side in a moment's time.
It's the right call. Looks like it's going to find the right result as well. Frozen playing it safe. Anticipates exertions forward position. He's absolutely nailed it there.
They're going to run him down with the
They're
bomb.
running at him with the bomb, and Frozen taps the second head. Torgy's dead. Falling apart. They only had one defender. Now Roulette, another victim of FaZe Clan. What is this? What is this?
There's no mollies for the side here. So Frozen and karrigan will not be displaced by flames. Twistzz has a flash as well to assist. Here they come.
Here comes the commitment. Frozen's tucked in. Happy on that second box. karrigan draws blood. Another body drop. Surgeon's gone. It's way too easy.
They can spill in the pit.
And they will. Torchy's going to have to pivot around. Does get spotted out. There's a kill from Frozen. Another opening kill. Oh, he's just doing it on his own. Solo mode. Jumps out the apartments and MOUZ collapse. Not disrespecting the smoke. Do you second guess it? Swings on out. Now another wave. Puts bullets down range. How has broky found another opening? Exertion's been pulled across. Taken down. Brawling's running late on that ammo. He needs to reload. Tucks in. Support has arrived. Don't worry. Torgy's here. Misses his shot. Not anymore. He's not. Oh, and MOUZ's Major's going down the swanny.
They've just ripped the heart out of Torgy, out of MOUZ. Spinks in a 1v5. We're not here to find who's had the better season. How many playoffs? How many top 4? We're here to find who's the better Counter-Strike team. And right here, right now, FaZe
FaZe absolutely rolled MOUZ on Inferno, ending the match 13-2. As FaZe finished a big upset to get to the next point in the playoffs, their next opponent was getting ready to show the world an even bigger upset.
3v5 is where Furio will try to dig back from. You've got Wonderful on the rotation, but caught off by that bit hold and into the cover as he eats the flashbangs. Yakindar and K Serrano called upon, and they will get cut down. You are stuffed, and your major run is done. The crown falls from Furia's head, and NAVI amongst the 4 teams that'll chase it to the end. This major is truly now open for the taking.
NAVI managed to beat world #1 Furia with a decisive victory on Train, setting up what some might call absolute cinema. Underdog versus underdog. Neither team was supposed to be here, and now in less than 24 hours, they were going to clash for a chance to make it to a major grand final. As this semi-final gets underway with the map bans, NAVI get their pick of Ancient, FaZe take Nuke, and the final removals leave Inferno as the last map. As previously mentioned, Nuke and Inferno have been great maps for FaZe, but Ancient was one they haven't even had to touch in this tournament yet. On the other hand, NAVI had dominated both times they played this map earlier in the major, and they were about to punish FaZe just like they had bait in Paravision.
Will it be aggression now, pairing up with Jacob? Frozen wants to lend a hand. It looks like McCarthy's going, you know, not another multi from McCarthy! 1 kill in a major semi-final for the rookie. Is this going to be the clean finish? FaZe are just going to throw themselves towards the A side. Wonderful, ready to receive. Easy as that. karrigan falls. Another one from Wonderful. Beautiful. And a flick. What is that? Frozen down. Wonderful indeed. broky in the clutch. NAVI take the map. It's a quick one. A quick day in the office inevitable for the first map of play. 13-5.
FaZe may have smoked that MOUZ back, but right now NAVI are cooking. 1 map away from the grand final.
It was a big 13-5 loss with an abysmal performance all the way around for FaZe. They just looked lost. Not a single member of the team had a rating above 0.85 for the match, and yet again it was all or nothing time for the FaZe boys. It was time for their pick Nuke, and they had to find a way to push through that loss they just had. Unfortunately for them, it was a rough start back.
Okay, Im is going to be forced to reposition. He's done very well! Exceptional! Double kill, make it 3! Im is teaching us how to count. FaZe set back to spawn!
NAVI take the pistol in a few rounds after, and then FaZe managed to claw a few rounds back from them, but NAVI start to run away with it until the score is 8-2. Then, Twistzz is able to inject a little life into his squad with this play.
Bit does get sidelined. Okay, wasn't communicated, wasn't certain. Looking to punch in the code is karrigan. Twistzz to provide the covering fire. He wants to try and isolate him while he's there. Booked him in the corner. A power position from Twistzz. The frag changes everything. Now a 2-on-2. karrigan, however, brought down. He hasn't got the health for this. It would have to be spectacular. It would have to be magnificent. Twistzz to get the fire started. A little something from FaZe Clan. It's Twistzz delivering when FaZe need it most in a major semi-final.
With that in the final round of the half one for FaZe, the score is set at 8-4. A bit of a mountain to climb for sure, but FaZe would carry their momentum into the pistol.
Offensive smoke.
Gives him something to play around. An unorthodox position perhaps for that one tap. He needs to find something here. They're searching for him, spreading out, combing the area. Oh, too much to track. Good from karrigan and broky. It's wonderful with one back. Sure, you've removed Frozen, but FaZe have the advantage here.
Bomb's not getting planted yet.
Not yet. Another headshot. Jacob's USP removing McCarthy. Im has got too much to handle. Overcome, overwhelmed. A 1v3 for Wonderful. Doable. Possible. Fresh magazine, 30 HP. He wants to fight, and karrigan welcomes it. FaZe Clan find that pistol.
With that round in the bag and a few more after, FaZe are closing in on NAVI's lead at 7-8. NAVI get a few more rounds back to cushion that lead, but in round 18, Frozen is able to make a sick play to stop their run.
A lot of work! Oh no, the MP9 betrays him! Couldn't get it done, maybe Frozen could show him how it's done with a quick double. Awkward 10 seconds, Im to come up clutch. Ops to go on top, Frozen's gonna play the clock. Dips appears, dips up the ladder, is there time? There is! I think he's got it in time, gets it down, Im in the clutch, wallbang connects.
rounds.
Gets away from it. Frozen trying to hold it. Imba's not going to peek it with the low HP. No way! The audacity! The sheer audacity! You can't be doing that! Not in a sold-out stadium! Not in a major semi-final!
After a bit more back and forth, NAVI maintain their lead still and are able to get up 11-9. If NAVI take just one more round from FaZe, they would at least get the game into overtime.
This is winnable for Wonderful.
Bomb plant's coming. Sandieri seals the deal. Frozen wants to play. Oh, he pushes the through. Plays the broad price. Gets off to the...
That's one.
Karrigan in main. Jacob in top. Support from broky.
Karrigan could be a destabilizing force, but nearly gets caught. Still stands his ground for one. NAVI at the end. A quick flick out of broky's orb. He needs a lot more. It's another one. broky, have you got it? Yes, he has. broky on his bullshit just when they needed it.
That's two.
Top off.
Okay, quick from Karrigan again. He's passing his tears. Karrigan refusing. He's not giving up this side, not without a fight.
That's three, and now it's match point.
Twistzz smoked off. Pressure on Jacob.
Okay, Jacob. They're parting in. He gets tagged up. Doesn't panic. Dropping. Good fight. Removes Alexi. FaZe Clan, they want to see Inferno. It's just 2 kills away. Bomb now picked up. Wonderful gets his hands on it, but there's Twistzz. Emerging from the smoke still gets his. It's just bit. FaZe Clan just have to remove this man's head, and we see a third man. Budapest. 20 seconds, and we go the distance.
Take a bow, mate. The show goes on. This one's far from over.
With some unbelievable clutches, FaZe pull the map back and win 13-11. But we're not done yet, because now the real pressure is on. One more map to find out which one of these underdogs is making it to the grand final in Budapest. Coming into Inferno, FaZe start on the CT side and get off to a quick 4-0 lead, but NAVI answers back.
Comfortable. That is how he does that. A double headshot from Big. broky missing shots. Wonderful wraps it up. NAVI dig the heels indeed, but it's Bit leading the charge.
3v5 from nowhere.
Despite a big play there from Bit, NAVI only managed to win 2 more rounds that half, ending it down 9-3. FaZe are in a winning position now, but NAVI start to show some more fight in the second half.
Bit trying his luck on the low HP. If he gets him off, it is practically GG. Going gets win, and XTB's got the time. Has he got the time? It's tight. It's really, really tight. It's really a major determining defuse, and NAVI stays way on. Abandoning your bomb site. Now you have to retake it. Sure, it's only a Desert Eagle, but it still feels weird. The whole site. A crossfire established. You need a multi out of broky. Karrigan, someone has to step up. He's under so much pressure. Headshot delivered. broky's just got a deagle. He's been overrun. NAVI saved themselves from red faces.
They managed to close the gap and bring the score to a more manageable 11-8. What's worse for FaZe now is that their economy is really poor. They'll have to settle for pistols in a pivotal round.
Pressure on Bit. He's done well. He still has that crossfire. Bit with a double kill. Pressure back as the deagle headshots hit. Morale up for debate. Okay, it's Zimmer staying solid as a rock. Quick adjustment, last burst. Finds the header, broky. Too much for Twistzz to handle.
Or is it?
Oh, maybe it's not. Maybe there's magic in the FaZe jersey once more. Just needs Makaze. Missed shot, whistles past as the rookie versus the veteran. Oh! He's done it again.
But yet again, FaZe makes something spectacular happen. Twistzz with an absolutely insane deagle play clutches up the round and leads them to a final match point.
With this, he's going quick about this. I think he may have spotted a flash of Makaze. XTB's fallen. Surely not. He's just Makaze. FaZe Clan inching closer. The major grand finals got their name written all over it. Falling through the fingers of NAVI. It started strong. Ancient a distant memory, because Inferno, it comes down to the last two. Fit and wonderful. Fall, and FaZe Clan have done it. A major grand final. karrigan elated. Disbelief. Doubted at every turn.
The Sons of Anarchy are back on their bullshit. From stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3 to the playoffs. And this is their show.
They did it. They did it again. No matter what the situation looked like, FaZe found a way to get through it, and now it paid off for a chance to win a grand final major. A chance to take a title home on one of the biggest stages in Counter-Strike. A chance for absolute redemption. But this final would be unlike anything they had done throughout this tournament. Vitality was a familiar opponent for FaZe, but the stakes were obviously a lot higher at this point in the tournament. This Vitality squad is argued to be one of, if not the greatest team in Counter-Strike history, being compared to the likes of the Astralis squad that won 3 back-to-back majors. Having already won a 2025 major, Vitality would only prove themselves closer to that top spot by securing this win in Budapest. Of course, this was also now home to ropz, who has extensive history with several players on the current FaZe roster, which could also contribute to Vitality's game plan. And not only that, but now there's a new format for this grand final. Instead of a best of 3, this would be a best of 5. Each team only gets 1 map to trash, and both choose their auto ban options. FaZe remove Train, and Vitality take out Ancient. With the bans out of the way, now it's back and forth picks for map order, and we start on FaZe's first pick. FaZe are off to a quick start on Nuke, winning the pistol and several more rounds after.
Trying to run it down, bombs planted, broky hands off of it, we've got separated 1v1, this could be it for MOUZ. And as broky gets around the cover, Twistzz is gonna take down MOUZ's teammate, but now still, that last defender still so far cut off. There's 5 seconds left on that defuse. Only 5 seconds left. MOUZ gets off, and Twistzz is gonna catch him with a headshot and a clutch in the very first round of this grand final.
Vitality take a round here and there, but FaZe would go into the half up 8-4. Much of the same happened in the second half.
It must be ropz, right? He has to get the easiest, quickest first kill and slow this down. Oh.
That would have been it. Oh, at least he takes Frozen out in the backdrop. MOUZ is a rock. Versus 3, karrigan stomping over. Oh, meant to be the sitting duck. Announces himself and cleans up Jacob. Pops open the window just to give Twistzz that threat of him flying outwards. And Twistzz, of all the players on the retake, he was the one that didn't have a kit. He's got to come and push to get that. It sits at the bottom of the staircase.
He's done
and
it.
So this is over. MOUZ walks into the corner and will give Vitality more time to work.
He actually did it. ropz got the kill, not the one that we were thinking. The second shot comes in. He makes that op work, and MOUZ hits the 1-on-3.
Vitality would get a punch or 2 in, but FaZe were just playing really well.
Still, how scary is that? You win the round and you come into this one with a MAC-10 Tech 9.
True, very expensive.
Gonna try to play it fast then. Try to make up for it. broky, it's not a shotgun. Twistzz bested with just his one.
ropz.
He's gonna be the one that cracks that bomb site open. They try to double back and they meet karrigan.
No way! The thing is swimming. There's a shark in the water, and it's not who you'd expect.
That karrigan multi would set up match point for FaZe, and they'd win what looked like a pretty comfortable match for them. With 1 map down, it was time for Vitality's first pick. This was easily their best map in the pool, with an over 88% win rate on it coming into the tournament. And this Vitality team would show the world just how great they really were here.
Vitality trying to get up through the catwalk. 3 players versus the 4 of FaZe, but they'll find karrigan's head on that ramp. broky, he's able to catch one with a headshot to Apex.
They get rid of him.
They keep trading that one back and forth, so they'll find a bit of sanctuary for the plant. Twistzz with the Berettas, catches them off guard. Can't get the frag fast, but FaZe within that pocket of timing is able to catch Frozen, and then with 3 kills to his name, take his fort. But the bomb plant's down, which means Zywoo's up is up. And as he sees that second player dive back to the cover, MOUZ confirms broky into the 1v1. Jacob for the clutch for FaZe Clan second. Flames atop the bomb, and it's Jacob atop the boxes. Cut down by MOUZ. Yet another certified Merryman clutch. ZywOo, instant execution. A second, a third. ZywOo steps up to the challenge, and FaZe Clan fumble in front of him. Goes deeper onto Frozen.
He's not done.
Oh, ZywOo. And so Twistzz towards the catwalk versus the MP9 bested. Everything feeling like it's going against you, but Frozen will still try to hang on for hope. Still out towards middle, that bomb sits. And still at the top, remain Vitality.
The match would end 13-3, and just as quickly as FaZe would gain a map point advantage, they'd lose it. Despite decent performances from Frozen and broky, the team as a whole just seemed to be outgunned, and karrigan's game plan didn't hold up well. With the series now tied at 1-1, we're back with another FaZe map pick. After a big loss on Dust 2, the FaZe boys are looking to start Inferno with some momentum. They're able to take down 3 rounds to start their T side, but Vitality answers back with 2 of their own.
broky's Galil pressed in against this.
He got hit with an HE earlier, down to 29.
karrigan's AK sits on the coffins right beside him. This is both of the rifles to try to force it back. But MOUZ's got the trade. karrigan into the cover. ZywOo with the pressure of the pistol kills Jacob in the background. It's all big now. Turns it, and MOUZ executes with the pistol.
He's got a kit.
Oh, it's going to be a close one already. A clutch queued up, and Vitality take it.
MOUZ again.
And after one more successful FaZe round, things start to shift heavily in one direction.
Frozen's going to put a smoke down in front of him, but MOUZ's going to maintain vision over top as long as the flashes don't fully find him. Player pushes down beneath.
MOUZ.
He's going to execute him in a second.
Oh, he has the chance to do a lot more.
Sit. Oh, while Apex dies, MOUZ wins. He pulls the trigger, turns around, and executes the bow.
It's got to be the 1-on-2 from Twistzz now. MOUZ makes the move to make this feel impossible. No spice on the site.
Got to get picked back up, it will be. Twistzz fake plant once, MOUZ doesn't bite. Banana player dead, and Twistzz slain. MOUZ again and again. And Vitality prove there are gaps between them and FaZe on Inferno. 6-round streak takes the life out of FaZe Clan's faces.
Vitality take the remaining 6 rounds of the half and end it 8-4 in their favor. It was looking down for FaZe, but if anyone could pull it back within reach, it was them. They started off their CT side strong with 3 straight rounds and nearly equalized, but Vitality yet again clawed back FaZe's progress by winning 3 rounds in a row themselves. Despite taking a few rounds back, FaZe only delayed their final outcome.
Vitality, kings of 2025, lock into their bomb sites. Look forward to the 2-1 advantage in this best of 5, but they have allowed karrigan to creep ever closer. Down goes broky, karrigan strikes, but it's good night on Inferno, and hello again, Vitality.
And just as they had been so many times before in Budapest, they were just 1 map away from being eliminated now. And even worse so, they were gonna have to play on one of their worst maps throughout the entire tournament.
That's the support of Frozen down. He's just trying to keep his head down into the cover, but Rob isn't gonna let that happen. Twistzz on the scene, falls to Vitality.
Difficult retake incoming. They're gonna run at it.
Rob's down into the water, kind of stuck ahead of the cover. Oh, okay. Down from beneath. Rob will strike first. FaZe. Whew. Broken apart. 25 seconds. Vitality playing down with the clock. His back turned, and as karrigan collects the headshot, Robs has got the answers back. Apex won as well.
There he
Broky
is.
loses his support system, but he'll strike down Apex, secure man advantage, and dive into the bank.
It's got to be ZywOo to plant the bomb. It's coming down to 10 seconds. Rob's going to have forward control, but he can't defend this necessarily.
Here it comes. They're going to try to dive ZywOo. That's the cover. Robs with the headshots. broky won the no-scope sick, but Robs is just so nasty.
Oh, man. Rob's from the bank, cashing in on those 3 frags.
Now, as much as I'd like to tell you that FaZe Magic blessed the crowd with another amazing comeback performance, they just didn't.
ZywOo steps forward towards the bathrooms to try to end this here and now. That long push comes onto the flank, and now Apex over top of the van. karrigan, there's nowhere to run, so little place to hide. Frozen meant to support 1v3 or else. Vitality reigning, defending, back-to-back major champions. One frag from it and Frozen will fight to the bitter end. Apex on the front of the bomb site. Frozen on the swing, and it's Apex himself to end it.
It was another really poor showing on Overpass, and Vitality were now crowned as the Budapest Major Grand Champions. While FaZe didn't take home the trophy, I think myself and many others will always remember this major for the run that FaZe had, even more so than Vitality's victory. And I truly mean no disrespect to Vitality in saying that. They have been on one of the greatest runs in Counter-Strike history. I mean, that's just inarguable. I wouldn't argue with anyone who said this was the greatest team the game has ever seen, and they truly deserve this major. But when I think about everything FaZe has gone through this year and what they managed to accomplish in Budapest, it holds a special place for me, and it's something I won't ever forget.
Looking at this team, looking at Jacob improving so much in a short space of time under your leadership, this must give you a great confidence going into the next season compared to what you showed here in 2025.
I mean, I think Jacob showed the world what he's capable of. I told him yesterday, I have regrets from 2018, thinking about winning the major. I just wanted him to enjoy this moment. There will be more. He started his career. For me, every major final I play is just another opportunity missed, but people have told me to retire for 7 years. They probably do tonight as well, but I'm gonna fight until they put me on the bench. I'm gonna fight for this FaZe Clan to be on top of the world, and I have never given up, and today is rough. Tomorrow I work hard on myself, and next year I'm gonna push and show the world what we're capable of.
You see, that's the thing about redemption. It doesn't always come with a trophy. For karrigan, this major obviously meant a lot. All year long, people questioned whether he still belonged at this level, whether his age had caught up to him, and whether it was time for him to step away. And more so than answering with words, he answered with leadership. They didn't panic when they fell behind, they didn't collapse when rounds started slipping. They trusted calls, they trusted instincts. That doesn't happen by accident. You don't get to reach a major grand final in what you call the worst year of your career by luck. A big reason that happens is because someone is steering the ship. Budapest didn't just prove that karrigan could still lead, it proved that his experience still matters when everything is on the line. For Jacob, this major was a transformation. He arrived in FaZe as a question mark, a rookie, a gamble. People thought he couldn't make it in a situation like this. He wasn't a superstar, but he was a very mechanical talent that was willing to listen and learn. Someone who grew to survive the pressure without shrinking. By the time the playoffs arrived, Jacob wasn't just another player on the roster, he was a big contributor to their success. Winning key rounds, especially pistols. Holding space, doing exactly what FaZe needed him to do. And for a player that many doubted belonged at this level of the game, that alone is a victory in my eyes. Besides maybe Jacob, I felt like no other player on this roster had more to prove than broky did. After being benched earlier this year, he was someone that many people wrote off. Sure, he was a beast the last few years, but what about now? He's washed, right? But Budapest proved otherwise. This was broky reminding everyone why he had once been one of the most feared oppers in the world. Was he perfect all tournament long? No, of course not. But he delivered when FaZe needed him most throughout the stages and under the bright lights of the playoffs too against teams like MOUZ and NAVI. In some of the biggest moments of the tournament, broky did not hesitate. He reminded everyone what a top-tier opper looks like when their confidence returns. And throughout most of it, man, two players remained exactly what FaZe needed. Twistzz and Frozen. Reliable, explosive, unshakable, man. Just a few words that come to mind when I think about their run in this major. You could say they didn't have to deal with as much criticism coming into this tournament as some of the other players on the roster, but this is a team game, and it seemed like they were the pillars that held FaZe together at some of its toughest intervals. Especially in the early stages when the team as a whole was still trying to get their bearings, you could almost count on one or both of them to shine and make some insane plays to bail them out of a tough spot. As simple as it sounds, Sometimes all you really need are players that show up consistently, and for a team whose biggest problem all year was inconsistency, these two really were the glue that held the team together and helped them make it to a grand final. This is what made FaZe winners and this major so special. Not the final score, but the fact that this team, after everything, became more than just a collection of individuals. Despite this iteration of the roster only being together for less than 2 months, they became a solid unit again. A team that trusted each other, fought for each other, one that refused to let a broken year define them. This is why I say they are one of the most resilient teams I've ever had the pleasure of watching. Everybody remembers the win, but sometimes, the story that stays with you isn't about who lifted the trophy. It's about a team that refused to disappear. The year that felt like it could have ended them, and the moment they proved they still belong. This was FaZe Clan, before the win.
Give me out of your money, Kurt.
Kurt? This guy, Kuba. What a game. Jacob with the J shots. Oh, good him. All right, that was too much. He's overstimulated now. Do it, Russ.
Stay on top of it.
I'm offended. How do you almost the game? I don't know. Good answer.
After show, the Polska grooms over there pushing us to the fucking limits. Polska Gurums! Polska Gurums! Polska Gurums! Polska Gurums! Polska Gurums! La 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 la. I love you guys!